Welcome to Crypto Journal. If you find value in this analysis, hit that like button and drop a comment letting me know if you want more content connecting policy developments to specific crypto projects. On July 18th, 2025, President Trump signed the Genius Act into law, creating the first ever federal regulatory framework for stablecoins in the United States. The White House fact sheet stated the widespread adoption of dollar-backed stablecoins will modernize payments infrastructure and allow the United States to move away from costly and outdated legacy systems. Trump's cryptos are David Sachs and the Presidential Working Group on Digital Asset Markets have made it clear that real-time settlement, instant payments, and blockchain-based financial infrastructure are national priorities. And there's one blockchain protocol that's been building exactly this infrastructure for 4 years. A protocol that processes continuous payment streams using stablecoins with near zero cost. A protocol that already has payroll licenses in multiple US states and partnerships with Circle and Stellar. Stick around because at the 18-minute mark, I'm going to explain why Zebec Network's architecture aligns perfectly with Trump's stated policy goals and why the administration might already be evaluating it. Let me start by explaining Trump's comprehensive crypto policy framework, because once you understand what the administration is actually trying to achieve, you'll see which technologies fit their vision. On January 23, 2025, President Trump signed Executive Order 14178 titled Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology. This wasn't symbolic. This was a strategic directive with specific mandates. The executive order established the President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets, chaired by venture capitalist David Sachs, as the crypto and AI czar. The working group includes the chairs of the SEC and CFTC, the Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce, the Attorney General, and senior administration officials. They were given 180 days to submit a comprehensive report proposing regulatory and legislative frameworks for digital assets. On July 30th, 2025, that report was delivered. 160 pages of policy recommendations titled Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology. The White House fact sheet accompanying the report stated, by implementing these recommendations, policymakers can ensure that the United States leads the blockchain revolution and ushers in the golden age of crypto. The report focuses on 5 core pillars: market structure for digital asset exchanges and trading, banking and financial services integration with blockchain, stablecoins and payments infrastructure, countering illicit finance with compliance tools, and taxation frameworks for digital assets. Every single pillar creates demand for blockchain infrastructure that enables real-time settlement, programmable payments, and stablecoin integration. The Genius Act, which Trump signed on July 18th, is the legislative centerpiece of this policy framework. The act requires stablecoin issuers to maintain 100% reserve backing with liquid assets like US dollars or short-term treasuries, monthly public disclosure of reserve composition, strict marketing rules preventing misleading claims, and critically, stablecoin issuers must possess the technical capability to seize, freeze, or burn stablecoins when legally required. This last requirement is crucial. Trump's administration wants compliant stablecoins that law enforcement can control if necessary. They're not promoting unregulated, censorship-resistant crypto. They're promoting regulated, government-compatible blockchain infrastructure. Zebec uses USDC, issued by Circle, which is fully compliant with these requirements. Circle works closely with law enforcement and can freeze wallets when legally required. This makes USDC the most attractive stablecoin for government adoption. If you're still with me, comment compliant infrastructure. I want to see who understands that Trump's crypto policy isn't about decentralization maximalism, but about regulated blockchain that serves national interests. Now let me show you the specific language from Trump's policy documents that describes exactly what Zebec Network does. The White House fact sheet on the Genius Act states, the widespread adoption of dollar-backed stablecoins will modernize payments infrastructure and allow the United States to move away from costly and outdated legacy systems. What are costly and outdated legacy systems? Traditional payroll processing that takes days to settle. Wire transfers that cost $25 to $50 per transaction. Cross-border payments that take 3 to 5 business days and charge 3 to 6% in fees. Zebec's entire value proposition is replacing these legacy systems with instant, near zero cost payment streams using stablecoins. Their WageLink application enables employers to pay workers in real time as they work, not bi-weekly through traditional payroll processors. Workers can access their earned wages instantly without waiting for payday or paying predatory payday loan fees. International contractors receive payments in USDC instantly without expensive wire fees or currency conversion spreads. This is exactly the modernized payments infrastructure Trump's administration advocates. The Presidential Working Group report emphasizes that stablecoins can provide 24/7 settlement and instant payments. Traditional banking operates during business hours. Zebec operates continuously, 24/7, 365 days per year. Payments stream second by second without interruption. The report also highlights interoperability across payment systems as critical for modern infrastructure. Zebec integrated with Layer 0 in July 2025, enabling seamless interoperability with Ethereum, Solana, BNB Chain, and dozens of other blockchains. They partner with Circle for USDC integration and Stellar for cross-border settlement. This multi-chain, multi-partner approach aligns perfectly with the administration's vision for interconnected payment systems. The Trump administration specifically wants to strengthen the role of the US dollar as the global reserve currency. The White House fact sheet states, by driving demand for US treasuries, stablecoins will play a crucial role in ensuring the continued global dominance of the US dollar. Every USDC stablecoin is backed by dollars and short-term US treasuries held in Circle's reserves. When Zebec processes payments using USDC, it's strengthening dollar dominance globally. Companies in Brazil, Philippines, India, Nigeria can pay workers using Zebec infrastructure with USDC. Workers in these countries hold dollars digitally instead of local currency. This expands dollar adoption in emerging markets where trust in local currencies is low. This directly supports Trump's stated goal of cementing the dollar's status as global reserve currency. Now, let me explain why Trump himself might have direct interest in Zebec-type infrastructure beyond just policy. Trump's business empire includes real estate, hospitality, licensing deals, and international operations. These businesses require payroll for thousands of employees, contractor payments globally, and cross-border fund transfers. Traditional banking costs Trump's organization millions annually in payroll processing fees, wire fees, and currency conversion costs. If Trump Tower pays housekeeping staff in New York, front desk workers in Dubai, golf course maintenance crews in Scotland, and licensing partners in India, using traditional banking means paying separate payroll processors in each country, dealing with multiple currencies, and absorbing massive fees. Using Zebec infrastructure, Trump organization could process all payroll globally through one system, paying everyone in USDC with instant settlement and near zero cost. This isn't speculation. Every multinational corporation faces the same challenges. And Trump, as a businessman before becoming president, absolutely understands the pain points of international payroll and payments. His administration's focus on modernizing payment infrastructure suggests he sees the business value, not just policy value. Additionally, Trump launched World Liberty Financial in partnership with his family. WLFI is a crypto project that includes a stablecoin. Financial disclosure forms show Trump made $57.3 million from World Liberty Financial before Congress passed the Genius Act. World Liberty Financial would benefit enormously from integrating with compliant payment infrastructure like Zebec. Their stablecoin could flow through Zebec's payment streaming rails. Trump organization could use Zebec for internal operations. WLFI could white label Zebec technology for their own customer base. The business incentive is clear. Trump has personal financial interest in the success of crypto payment infrastructure, and Zebec is one of the most advanced, compliant, ready to deploy solutions available. Comment business incentive alignment if you're seeing how Trump's personal interests align with promoting infrastructure like Zebec. Let me show you how Zebec's compliance infrastructure matches exactly what Trump's administration requires. The Genius Act mandates strict KYC and AML compliance for stablecoin transactions. In June 2025, Zebec acquired GateKnox to embed KYC and AML tools directly into their payment infrastructure. This wasn't reactive. This was strategic preparation for exactly the regulatory environment Trump is creating. Zebec completed SOC 2 Type 2 compliance in August 2025. This certification is required by enterprises and government agencies before they'll use any financial infrastructure provider. It proves Zebec has adequate security controls, data protection, and operational procedures. Government contractors must be SOC 2 compliant to work with federal agencies. Zebec is pursuing ISO 27001 certification by end of 2025. This is the international standard for information security management. Federal agencies often require ISO 27001 for vendors handling sensitive data. By obtaining these certifications, Zebec is positioning to serve not just private sector clients, but government agencies. The Genius Act requires stablecoin issuers to possess technical capability to seize, freeze, or burn stablecoins when legally required. Zebec's infrastructure integrates with Circle's USDC, which is built in compliance controls. Circle can freeze specific wallet addresses when law enforcement requests it. Circle can reverse fraudulent transactions. Circle complies with OFAC sanctions by blocking addresses associated with sanctioned entities. This compliance infrastructure is exactly what Trump's administration wants. They're not promoting censorship-resistant DeFi. They're promoting government-compatible blockchain that maintains law enforcement capabilities. Zebec built this from day one. Additionally, Zebec acquired Payroll Growth Partners, a traditional payroll services company with licenses in multiple U.S. states. Payroll processing is heavily regulated at state and federal levels. You need money transmitter licenses, payroll service licenses, and compliance with Department of Labor regulations. By acquiring a licensed payroll company, Zebec gained instant regulatory legitimacy and existing compliance infrastructure. This acquisition strategy is brilliant. Instead of asking regulators to approve a crypto payroll company, Zebec bought an already approved traditional payroll company and upgraded it with blockchain infrastructure. Regulators see a licensed, compliant payroll processor that happens to use blockchain, not a crypto project trying to enter regulated industries. Now let me address the timeline for when Trump administration might announce partnerships or pilot programs with blockchain payment infrastructure. Federal procurement and technology adoption move slowly. The Genius Act takes effect 18 months after July 18, 2025, which is January 2027, or 120 days after regulators issue final regulations, whichever comes first. Regulators need time to write detailed rules implementing the Genius Act. Stablecoin issuers need time to achieve compliance. Federal agencies evaluating blockchain payment infrastructure need time to test security, assess vendors, and complete procurement processes. This means real deployment likely happens 2026 through 2028. But pilot programs could start sooner. The Small Business Administration could pilot using Zebec for disaster relief payments, distributing aid to small businesses instantly via stablecoins instead of waiting weeks for checks. The Department of Labor could pilot using Zebec for unemployment benefits, streaming payments daily instead of weekly. The Department of Veterans Affairs could pilot veteran benefit payments through Zebec, giving veterans instant access to earned benefits. These pilots would happen quietly under NDA before any public announcements. Federal agencies don't announce technology pilots until they're proven successful. If Zebec is currently in discussions with federal agencies, which is entirely plausible given their compliance positioning, we wouldn't know about it for months or years. The pattern we've seen repeatedly is that infrastructure adoption happens silently before becoming public. Cloud computing adoption by federal agencies happened years before being publicly discussed. AI integration into government systems happened quietly before being announced. Blockchain payment infrastructure adoption will follow the same pattern. Let me show you why Trump's emphasis on banking integration creates opportunities for Zebec. The Presidential Working Group report dedicates extensive coverage to banking and digital assets. The recommendations include encouraging banks to offer digital asset custody, allowing banks to use blockchain for settlement, and enabling banks to issue stablecoins or hold stablecoin reserves. The report specifically recommends federal banking regulators should revive and expand innovation initiatives to clarify permissible digital asset activities for banks. This means banks that were hesitant to touch crypto under the Biden administration now have green light to integrate blockchain infrastructure. Zebec's acquisition of payroll growth partners positions them to partner with banks. Traditional payroll companies have relationships with thousands of banks that process payroll for their clients. Zebec inherited those banking relationships. Now they can offer banks blockchain-based payroll solutions that reduce costs and improve speed without requiring banks to build infrastructure themselves. A regional bank in Texas could partner with Zebec to offer instant wage access to their small business clients. The bank maintains the customer relationship and regulatory compliance. Zebec provides the blockchain infrastructure. The business gets modern payroll. Workers get real-time access to wages. The bank differentiates itself from competitors still using legacy systems. This bank partnership model aligns perfectly with Trump's vision of integrating blockchain into traditional banking without forcing banks to become crypto companies. Banks remain banks. They just use better infrastructure. And Zebec provides that infrastructure. The report also emphasizes that banking agencies should focus on technology-neutral risk management. This means regulators should assess the risks of activities, not ban activities just because they use blockchain. Under this framework, a bank using Zebec for payroll processing would be evaluated on whether the payroll system is secure and compliant, not on whether blockchain is involved. This is a massive shift from Biden-era regulation where banks faced regulatory pressure just for touching crypto. Under Trump, banks are encouraged to explore blockchain with clear guidelines. This regulatory environment is exactly what Zebec needs to scale partnerships with financial institutions. If you're still watching, comment bank partnership model. I want to know who's seeing how Zebec fits into Trump's bank-friendly crypto policy. Now let me address the strategic Bitcoin reserve and U.S. digital asset stockpile that Trump established via executive order. While the reserve focuses on Bitcoin, the broader digital asset stockpile could include any blockchain assets the government acquires. Trump's executive order directs Treasury to develop strategies to manage these assets. If the government holds digital assets, they need infrastructure to custody, transfer, and potentially distribute those assets. Zebec's infrastructure could serve this purpose. Imagine the federal government using Zebec to stream benefits or aid payments using stablecoins from their digital asset stockpile. Recipients receive continuous payment flows instead of lump sums. The government maintains programmatic control over distribution. This use case aligns with financial inclusion goals Trump has articulated. People without bank accounts, the in-bank population, can receive government benefits via crypto wallets accessible through smartphones. They don't need traditional banking relationships. This expands access to financial services for underserved populations. Trump has framed his crypto policy as making America the crypto capital of the world while ensuring benefits reach all Americans. Zebec's infrastructure enables both. It's cutting-edge blockchain technology that supports financial inclusion for populations excluded from traditional banking. Let me show you the competitive landscape and why Zebec is positioned better than alternatives for government adoption. Several projects offer payment streaming. Superfluid and Sablier are the most known competitors, but neither has the compliance infrastructure Zebec built. Superfluid is DeFi-focused, not enterprise or government-focused. Sablier targets crypto-native users, not traditional businesses or agencies. Zebec acquired traditional financial services companies. They obtained licenses. They completed enterprise-grade compliance certifications. They partner with regulated stablecoin issuers. This isn't a crypto project trying to become compliant. This is a compliance-first organization that uses blockchain as the technical layer. For government agencies evaluating vendors, compliance credentials matter more than technology. The question isn't which blockchain is faster. The question is which vendor has the licenses, certifications, insurance, and track record that procurement officers require. Zebec checks every box that government procurement requires. Additionally, Zebec's multi-chain approach provides flexibility government agencies need. Different agencies might prefer different blockchains based on existing integrations or technical requirements. Zebec supporting Solana, Ethereum, BNB chain, and others means they can adapt to agency preferences instead of forcing agencies to adopt one blockchain. This flexibility is critical for government adoption where different departments have different systems and requirements. A one-size-fits-all blockchain solution won't work. Zebec's interoperable architecture solves this. Now let me address what would happen if Trump administration explicitly endorsed Zebec or announced pilot programs. The market impact would be enormous. Government endorsement of blockchain infrastructure provides validation that no amount of venture capital or private sector adoption can match. If the US government uses specific infrastructure, that infrastructure becomes the de facto standard. Other governments would evaluate what the US uses. Corporations would follow government procurement. Standards bodies would reference government-endorsed solutions. This creates network effects where early government adoption drives exponential subsequent adoption. For ZBCN token holders, government usage would drive fundamental demand. If federal agencies process payments through Zebec Network, those transactions require ZBCN tokens for gas fees. As transaction volume scales from pilot programs to full deployment, token demand increases proportionally. But this plays out over years, not weeks. Government pilots in 2026, expanded deployment 2027 through 2028, full-scale adoption 2029 through 2030. Token price appreciation follows usage growth, which follows deployment timeline. The asymmetric opportunity is positioning before explicit government announcements. Once the US government announces they're using Zebec infrastructure, price has already moved. Those who understand policy alignment and position during the ambiguous phase capture the asymmetric returns. Let me bring this analysis to a conclusion. Trump's administration has made blockchain-based payment infrastructure a national priority. The Genius Act created regulatory framework for stablecoins. The Presidential Working Group recommended integrating blockchain into banking. The White House stated explicitly that stablecoins will modernize payments and allow movement away from legacy systems. Every policy priority Trump articulated points toward infrastructure that enables instant settlement, 24/7 operations, stablecoin integration, and compliance with law enforcement requirements. Zebec Network built exactly this infrastructure: real-time payment streaming, USDC integration, KYC and AML compliance, SOC2 certification, payroll licenses in multiple states, banking partnerships through acquired companies. The technical and regulatory alignment is precise. Zebec's architecture matches what Trump's policy documents describe as ideal modern payment infrastructure. The compliance credentials match what federal procurement requires. The business model solves problems that Trump himself faces with international business operations. Whether Trump administration has already evaluated Zebec or will evaluate them in the future, the strategic fit is undeniable. As federal agencies implement the Genius Act and Presidential Working Group recommendations, they'll need vendors who can deliver compliant blockchain payment infrastructure. Very few companies globally meet all requirements. Zebec is one of them. The opportunity for those paying attention is recognizing policy alignment before it becomes public partnerships. Not as speculation, but as informed assessment based on publicly stated policy goals and existing technical capabilities. Trump has told us what infrastructure he wants. Zebec has built it. Now it's a question of when procurement processes bring the two together. If you found value in this policy analysis, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me, do you think Trump administration will partner with Zebec for pilot programs? Or is there another blockchain payment infrastructure better positioned? Your perspectives help me understand how the market is thinking about these developments. Trump could be interested in using Zebec Network in the United States. The policy framework he created demands exactly what Zebec offers. And the timeline for implementation is unfolding right now. See you in the next one.